another afternoon of exciting MML action. It is Season 7. It is Week 4. We're at the midpoint. This is when teams are really trying to gain their strong footholds for their playoff runs. And today we have got an exciting one. Hopefully a barn burner. We are going to be traveling via Cabal Vision Crystal Ball to the pit of pestilence, where Rodentia ad nauseam, a Skaven team, is hosting Harrelsons, a Wood Elf team. Let's take a look at what the play pool looks like. If you're not familiar with the MML has both the Pro League and the Challenge League, which typically when you start a new team, you have them play on the farm for a while. That's just our ladder. If your team gets enough respect and it earns enough confidence that they feel they can step into real league type play, they dip their foot in the Challenge League pool, which has some serious competition. But the top two teams of the Challenge League actually get promoted to the pros, so you can work your way all the way up to the pros. The pros is divided into two divisions, the East and the West, 16 teams in each. All right, and each one of those divisions consists of 4 conferences. 2 conferences are paired off with each other into a play pool every season, and then the conferences rotate. So over the course of 3 seasons, you'll rotate through three other conferences getting paired with you. The play pool this season is the Sword Coast Conference and the Wicked Forest Conference. And again, highlighting which teams are playing now, the home team is the Skaven Rodentia ad nauseam. If you're looking at the leaderboard now, it's not really accurate because it's the middle of the week, so Rodentia not having played this game yet, we don't know where they're going to stand at the end of the week. And Harrelsons, you can see them at number 3 with 2 wins and 1 draw. Rodentia, of course, has not started off great with 2 losses and a draw. They did win their conference. They won the Sword Coast Conference last season, just not a good start this season. Harrelsons, I believe, is also Sword Coast Conference. They got 2 wins, 1 draw. I'm sure Lou will jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. We've got the coaches listening live in the chat. And Lou is admitting he's nervous. Are you Wicked Forest? Sorry about that. Okay, Wicked Forest Conference, right. So, yeah, Sword Coast Conference versus Wicked Forest Conference, and I'm sure that their conference mates will be jumping in and cheering for them. Already this week, we've seen the Salon Seers, as I like to call them, in Wicked Forest action lose to the White Owls by 1, and you can also see in Sword Coast Conference action, Los Pumas and Revang of the Dwarves, I guess, tying. So anyway, as these teams are jumping into inducements, maybe Lou, if he's still connected via our link here, if he can tell me what inducements were taken, if any.
I got a babe from 20k of my own cash.
All right, and that's it? On both sides?
Yep,
nothing for Rodentia? Okay, cool. So
sorry, Lou, but we don't endorse prostitution of any kind.
And by the way, I've been running now for 3 minutes talking and flapping my gums, and I have yet to give proper homage to my co-host here, Harry frickin' Warthog. What's up, Harry? You ready for this match?
Good evening, my friend. Yes, and point also note, you rambled on for 3 minutes then without actually taking a breath. That's fantastic.
That's what I do.
I think you're part dolphin and you've got a little air hole in the back of your neck.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I like that. We're sharing a brain for this one. So anyway, let's take a quick look at the teams while the teams are going to the field and setting up for the kickoffs. I'm not sure if they've actually taken the field yet. Last I saw, they were in the tunnel giving their final locker room speeches. But if you want to take a look at my screen here, Rodentia ad nauseam, the S6 Sword Coast champs, as we can see, first round playoff losers in their words. If you take a look, they've got 8,000 fans through their fan factor that follow them around to whatever stadium they're at. It's a home game, and I'm sure they'll have more in attendance for that. Looking at their players, this team has seen some battles. NTB is not the kind of guy that says, hey, you're partly broken, you've got an injury, I'm going to replace you. He very much cares a lot about his individual players, and he will give players a chance to keep playing for as long as they're willing to do it. You see they're wearing their battle scars here. The guy you really got to watch out for, damage doer here on this squad, is Raffi. Obviously, I mean, he's not as fast as he used to be, but he still hits very hard, and he's so good at tackling that the Wood Elves are probably a little scared about him. His partner in crime, Stormvermin Dirtiest Randiest, normally a lot of teams fear him because of his claws, but for the Wood Elves, whose armor is very low, I mean, really it's only the tree that has to worry about Dirtiest Randiest, so that'll be interesting.
Not this time, Jesty.
Oh, the tree's dead?
The tree's out.
Ooh, out or dead?
He's out. He's
Oh,
injured.
okay, it's out. Okay, so, well, Dirtiest Randius will be just doing regular storm vermining things, and Rafi will be the one that the other side will probably be really scared about. Mumps, of course, the Rat Ogre with the break tackle skill and block, or we call him a bloger. Bernie Buffon in the chat saying this team needs to sign Cheese Stilton. He thinks that'll be an upgrade over the over Mumps. Taking a look also, Hantavirus. Let's give a special mention to Hantavirus rather. He is 172 SPP. He's 4 away from becoming legend. Wait for it, Dairy. He is a very fast gutter runner with sprint and an extra movement. This guy can one turn from the line of scrimmage without a chain push. So very, very interesting team here that we've got. I mean, there's so many to talk about. We'll talk about them during the game. I don't want to spend too much time looking at the teams and then start to miss the game too much. Let's just take a quick look at Harrelsons. What's really interesting about this Harrelsons, again, the motto is, "Hey, Jest, love you." So I think he forgot to replace that, Lou, since we did the preseason previews. Him and Dundon planted some to throw me off. The guy who we're going to look at first over here is U-Turn. This was last season's transfer. He has 201 SPP. The guy he came into the MML already legend. Wait for it, Dairy, sparking some controversy because coaches like Thundon and Preach, who have both shared Gorbag Marlar, who recently became legendary while in the MML, actually acquired all of his SPP in the MML. And then Coach NTB actually and his player Han have argued that U-Turn coming in doesn't really deserve that many accolades because all his SPP were acquired in the farm and not in pro play. So I'm sure that U-Turn will want this opportunity to show them that he's the real deal, and he's been brewing up a storm this whole season. Other players, you can't forget about Silla, the sprint champ, last year's MML's leading scorer, also leading receiver. This guy can do a lot, and both of these catchers have really been, putting up points for this team. As Harry mentioned, Deepwood Oak is going to be out for the game, and we'll see how that plays into this whole thing. And yeah, with that, hopefully the team should be live on the field now. So
yep,
we're finished turn one.
Pitch side now, mate.
Already? Oh man, sorry,
Yeah.
Rambled on too long.
So I'm at pitch side now.
All right.
Harrelsons have received the ball, already making a quick pass up the field, and the ball now sitting on the line of scrimmage, and the blows are coming in on the halfway line.
What I'll do, just for our viewers' benefit, I'm going to back it up to turn one, because we can do that with our crystal ball. We'll go back in time to when the teams were fresh.
What the great stuff, boy! Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future!
And then that's good. That's a good Doc Brown impression. And then so I'll back it up to turn one, and then I'll speed announce through until we're up to speed, and then hand the reins over to Harry to take us through the play-by-plays on the live action. And the crystal ball still kind of figuring in here. And without telling us specifically what's happening, Harry, is it good so far? Are we going to be pleasantly surprised?
Nothing to write home about, I must say. We're still only in the first transitional stage of this game, so no death yet, should we say?
All right, so I've got us rewound back to where the setups were happening. We see here the Rodentia and Nauseam, how they're setting up for kickoffs, and then we'll see Harrelsons prepare their offense. I'm going to switch the camera view to behind the Wood Elves because they're on offense. Makes it a little easier to track the action here. And it looks like Harrelsons is doing the thing that they love to do, setting their guy up for the one turn. U-Turn loves the one turn. I'm not sure if they're going to... Well, they haven't put him up on the line, so I don't know yet. We shall see. And I'm wondering, is this going to be a violent slugfest, or is it going to be a slew of one-turners and kind of one of these horse games? The kick is very high. It allows... Fumble Fingers to get under it, and he catches it. And we are going to start off with Dancing Leaves solo blitz on Carter Lishmaniasis, and he's going to run downfield, set up possibly a side cage. That might be what he's doing, but the rest of his comrades here are going to start executing some hits in the meantime. So you see the thrower Fumble Fingers run up, successful pass, The ball is now in the hands of Sillalith Sprint Champ. So they decided not to go with U-turn this time. They're going with Sprint Champ, and Sprint Champ has had his share of one-turns. Oh, and this could be a crucial turn of events. The loner, Berathath, fails to execute his block, at least so that he's still standing, and ends up knocking himself out and only knocking Fidel Astrovirus, who I think is a new player. This is his first game, and he takes one on the chin pretty well. You know, line rats are generally there to take punishment while the gutter runners, storm vermin, and even the rat ogre run around and do the skill stuff or the bashy stuff. But this guy is, you know, he's good at taking it on the jaw, and he does not cripple and fall out of the match. So now we will see if there's going to be a shot on the ball carrier. And what am I talking about? Of course there's going to be a shot on the ball carrier. And that's Cutter coming in unable to knock down Sprint Champ. He just pushes him back. But he does free that ball up. He strips him of the ball. And Sillalith Sprint Champ loses it. And it goes right into the hands of Ulsanel, a.k.a. U-Turn, who says, yep, this belongs to me. This is a constant thing where Lou just wants to, he does want to continue getting the ball into Sprint Champ's hands so Sprint Champ can continue leveling since U-Turn is already fully leveled. But for some reason, it's like he just can't avoid giving U-Turn the ball. U-Turn is a ball magnet. And you're going to have the block results in a both down. Cutter uses his Skaven Jitsu to wrestle Sprint Champ to the ground. And U-Turn still in contact. He's going to come all the way around, dodge out, and it looks like U-Turn's going to pass. He's going to try to pass past Dietz, the Agi 5 lineman, standing in his way, so this will be interesting. No, he's not. He's going to come around, and we are live now. So, Harry, this is where... Oh! Fumbles the ball at first. He did some extra training, though, throwing the ball through a tire this week. And... unable to complete the pass as the War Dancer, who is Dancing Leaves, who is covered by Cutter, is unable to hold on to that ball, and it falls down at his feet. All right, it's all you, Harry. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. You're so kind, aren't you? I just want to give you a big hug. So the ball now sitting in the feet of the two war dancers as they prance around, giving a hot step and dancing. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Oh my God, there's loads of dirty rats. What are we going to do? And now it's Skaven to see if they can recover that ball and score a touchdown.
By the way, Bernie says that serves him right for not giving it to U-Turn. This is Nuffle punishing Lou for trying to exclude U-Turn, and now U-Turn's confidence is shook. And he was unable at first to get that pass. And the rest of the team just kind of, they see him kind of not as confident, and now the rest of them their confidence is shaken.
And clenched his cheeks as he saw Rafi coming in hard from behind as he did bring him down to the floor. Knocking the wind out of him there, just lying in the mud and the blood in the beer. But here comes the blitz. They're going for U-Turn on the sideline, but he can ride this blow well, and he moves out of position away from the oncoming blow. Wow.
And Walrus King in the chat asking, are these actually elves? He's not convinced because they're not acting like it, Agi-wise.
Appears to Skaven either. Oh, but the ball is fumbled on the recovery and is sitting precariously on the sideline. As the three triplets of doom sprint round, sees near opportunity with their shiny black leather jack boots. Links, next, links, next, links, next. Ready to put some boots ahead.
This is not the game that I thought. This is not the start. This is not how I thought it would go. I don't know about you, but I didn't expect all of this basically fumbling around. I thought we'd have maybe two scores by now.
The Elves have surrendered possession early on, and it did look like a perfect opportunity for the Skaven to recover that ball and seize the opportunity and take advantage of it. But unfortunately, they couldn't capitalise on it now. So it's all on the Harrelsons to get up there and kick some furry butt. And can they recover that ball?
Lou is frantically writing in his on his clipboard to try to draw up a play here. Let's see what he comes up with.
Yeah, he's taking his time, not rushing into this one. Carefully thinking through his tactics, and he calls for the U-turd to make a block on Fetch, which is ineffective. Fetch rides it well, but the extra training does him no good this time round. Wow. Still a bit of stalemate there as they're fighting over possession of that ball. We call for backup, and the backup arrives in the form of Fumblefingers. Just tugging on Rafi's tail there, letting him know he's there.
By the way, Feats, who was just unable to push U-turn away, he's not usually a defensive player. He's an offensive guy. Oh! Sprint stuns!
And Siliv's sprint chap certainly not living up to his name there.
Not at all. By the way,
a very reliable sprinter as well, by all accounts.
Yeah, Nuffle says no with the double ones. Back to Theets real quick. He not usually a defensive player, but he did lead the SCC last season with 106 throwing yards. So we may be seeing him air it out once Rodentia gets the ball on offense.
We're back on the halfway line, and the blows are coming in thick and fast, and it's the young catcher, Demarion Dashman, on the receiving end of that one. Wants to be a bit careful. His arm already damaged, and he hasn't managed to repair it though. He could have felt the full effects of that blow, but he rode it well. And Mumps running a bit of the action as well, and taking swiped at Brian, the lineman. Now lying at the foot of Mumps.
Roik is in the chat declaring that it looks like the Harrelsons team used up all their luck against his squad.
Oof.
He's rebanging the Dwarves. He's their coach.
The lucky block coming in here on the War Dancer. Didn't have a strength advantage over him, but he took the opportunity. He went up high, came in with a clawed haymaker and brought him down. Pushed him towards the sideline, and the triplets are rubbing their hands and stamping their feet in anticipation here. Both War Dancers outstunned on the pitch now. As many pundits say, the one way to beat a Wood Elf team is take out the War Dancers. And looks like the Rodents are not doing a bad job of that right now. Ball regathered.
That is ballsy right there, using the Agi 5 to its full potential, picking it up and throwing it to his teammate, and that's what Theets does.
Yeah, fantastic play there by the young Skaven lineman, passes his teammate Leptospirosis II. A bit of a freak, this lad. See what he can, if he can make advantage of this situation now. Obviously, we don't have any Skaven players encroaching in the Wood Elf half just yet, who are in touchdown range, so we might try a bit of ball protection rather than going for an easy touchdown, do you think? And here we go, he decides to tuck in safely. Oh no, he doesn't tuck in safely. He's talking to the triplet, so naturally he's posing for the Goblin camera then, who wants to be on the cover of Rodent Monthly next week. Just look at him lapping at the attention there.
Let's give him his carrot time right there. Oh yeah, cheese it up, cheese it up.
And he whistles for his teammates to have a little bit of protection and get in on this camera shot now. It's the money shot.
There we go. Let's see the money shot again. There you go. Two of the stars for Rodentia. Oh, let's get a threesome going. Threesome.
Oh, here comes a dirty rep with a foul. Foul going in on the War Dancer on the sideline. And the foul is ineffective, and the referee, obviously he stood on the far side of the pitch now, failed to see that going on.
As our very own Glowworm has said on his podcast, Anything But a One, it's obligatory to foul the War Dancer when he's down. I mean, that's just, you have to. It's the rules.
It's the law.
It's the law. You don't want to break the law.
I didn't break the law. I am the law. So how will the Harrelsons, coached by Lou Liz, take advantage of the situation? Can they recover that ball? Can they stop the Skavens from scoring and going into a lead in this MML Pro Game, Season 7, Week 4, between the Rodentia of Nauseam and the Harrelsons? Check us out on mmlpro.com.
I gotta tell you, this is an exciting match, but it's not exciting in the way I thought it was gonna be. I mean, turn 4, I thought it was gonna be 2-2 by now.
Yeah, definitely. It's not what you expect from a Skaven and a Wood Elf team, especially teams experienced and two experienced coaches as these as well. It's going to be a bit more of a bash fest so far. Probably would more expect more from a Chaos outfit or an Orc team perhaps. But definitely not living up to expectations so far. Oof. And the sprinting skills of the Harrelsons really leaving something to be desired here. I think Loulis need to take him for some extra sprint training in after this game.
Absolutely,
really
make him run laps.
Or it could be the fact that we are playing at the home ground of the Rodentia at Nauseam, and the pitch is actually awash with scave and urine, the filthy, dirty rats.
That, and they like to burrow in the field a lot, so when they come up for air from the underground, a lot of times they'll leave these little mounds of dirt, and they are easy to trip over. But we expect more from our Woodies.
I'm not sure that's actually dirt. It's leaving a stain on the uniform.
Looks like Lou is positioning his players to stop the stall, but I'm not even sure that NTB has any inclination to stall. Again, he's been very vocal that U-turn is not the real deal. It's Hantavirus and his squad. And you have to think that on some level, one of these coaches would like to solidly spank the other one and assert dominance.
I think I might leave the spanking for the after-game party. That's what I'm going to.
Absolutely. And look at that. Nuffle says no again, and Lou is in the chat shirting. If you're familiar with the MML, you'll know what I mean by that.
Oh.
Can I get a Booyakasha? Himmelar the healer is seeing stars, and not good ones.
Where is Hantavirus? I'm trying to place him. Where is he?
I think what NTB normally does is sit him on the sideline for defense. He doesn't play defense. He's established himself enough with this team. I think his new contract says he doesn't have to play defense unless it's absolutely necessary.
Fair enough. And Leptospirosis second sees another opportunity for another camera shot, and he runs down the pitch, hurtling towards the Harrelsons end zone, spying a goblin cameraman, and stops in his tracks to take in the glory and the attention. But here comes the blitz, and the blitz is good. Ooh, and Hernwen there on the receiving end of a nasty haymaker from the Storm Vermin, actually knocking him out. Good night, Vienna. Sweet dreams, sweet prince.
Just Stevie agreeing with me. Booyakasha, kill the war dancer.
I'm not sure. Isn't Booyakasha, isn't that quite an offensive term? I think when IG first came on the scene, it was actually...
Booyakasha is an offensive term?
I think so, yeah.
No.
Let me just double check. I'm sure it means kill the white man.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Get out of here. That's not what it means. Booyakasha is a reference to a shotgun sound, so it may have been used that way. But I don't know. I grew up with a lot of Jamaican friends. I don't think that's what it means. What a lot of people didn't know is there's a famous reggae song called Boom Bye Bye, and that one people didn't realize that if they didn't really understand the words, what he was saying is boom bye bye in a batty boy head. So he was saying, basically a gunshot to a gay guy's head. So it was pretty hateful song, and everybody was shaking their ass to it.
I was misinformed. Booyakasha means listen up, rude boy. Everything eerie wire I saw licky ya wanga got 50 man.
Not bad, Harry. Not bad.
Oh. Listen up, rude boy. Everything eerie wire I saw licky wanga got 50 man. In it, the joke thing blood. Wagwan.
There you go. Harry got
Cool
so...
runnings. Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Get on up. It's Blood Bowl time.
And as the St.
Oh,
Lucians
we've got a
would
game
say,
going on.
no pressure, no problem.
Oof. Dancing leaves. You dead?
He must be breakdancing. Because he hits the floor to do a windmill, and it's not impressive.
Yeah, look, really not shining on the Harrelsons now. Usually a very agile team, and their agility has really let them down now. Not only are they failing dodges and sprints, but the leaping skill is really not going their way at all. The leaping skills of a pregnant ass displayed there by Johnson and Leaves, the war dancer.
I want to switch over to go behind the offense, but at the same time, I feel like if I do that, Leptospirosis is going to get mad at me because he's really enjoying his camera time. He wants FaceTime, and he is not going to score. They're going to stall it out.
Oh,
uncharacteristic of the Rats.
He's milking it here, but he has spied the Goblin cameraman in the tower behind the sticks. He's going for an aerial view.
And the shirting continues. Lou declaring that he must have banged Nuffle's wife. And that's why he is suffering this horrible luck.
What makes you think Nuffle's a man?
It could be, yeah. Well, maybe what makes you think Nuffle's straight? Maybe Nuffle's a woman and she has a wife.
Exactly.
What makes you think Lou's straight? Maybe Lou banged Nuffle's wife and it's a guy. Still in the sprint champ in the meantime gets knocked out.
I still love him. Still my
Of course,
favorite German.
of course, to each their own. In the meantime, Stu in the chat saying, did the Harrelsons get drunk after celebrating the victory over the Owls? What's going on here? Lorik thinking that the problem is that the tree's missing. And the tree, the stat that a lot of Wood Elf coaches like to throw out there is that the tree saves, 2-point-something casualties a match. Well, that tree being around to not save those casualties, let's take a look at this kill box here. Yeah, you already got two Wood Elves out. One of them, the arguable star, or at least last season he was the star of the team. Looked like it all started.
Integral part of the team, especially if he's an experienced and established treeman like Deep Woodork is. Very talented, and he has helped this team to many victories in the past, and it does look as though they are missing that link right now.
I'm starting to believe Bernie when he's saying I really might have been a mistake to try to put the ball in the hands of Sprint Champ when U-turn is around. Because Sprint Champ just has not performed.
Fouling. You dirty rat. You dirty rat. You fouled my war dancer. Wow.
Blogger's so nice. For so many ogres, that would have been a turnover. And instead, there goes a loner.
A very talented Rat Ogre Monks, obviously trained in the block skill. Very hard to teach good guys this skill, and there's only a few that have mastered it.
I'm starting to believe Rodentia is going to be very content with going into the end of the half, 1-0, and then getting the ball right back.
The Elves on the receiving end of loads of heavy blows now. We do have 3 knocked out at this moment, but the knockouts are only the icing on the cake, as we did have a stunned player there, just getting to his feet now and recovering. But in the backfield, we do have a stunned war dancer as well. Really on the receiving end of a lot of nasty blows. And clenched cheeks, the war dancer, not in the best position there either. Although he's a trained leaper, but from what we've seen so far of this team, leaping is not their strong point.
And you see Himmelar the Healer start to lead the charge over to try to close the gap and force Leptospirosis to score. If you even give these Wood Elves one turn again to come back on you and tie it up, they could do it. So on some level, NTB I'm sure would like to score in the bottom of turn 8.
Yeah, we're trying to grind it out because obviously in the first half the Harrelsons did receive that ball. Oh, and still no injuries seen, but Kusha Lesher Maniasis, 1 of 2, now knocked out. Good night, Vienna. And the war dancer has freed himself from the terrible triplets on the sideline. We also got in an action shot for the Goblin cameraman there with the flying kick.
Yeah, that was pretty. And Cutters, Clenched Cheeks is not just content to sit there. He's going to come over and start hurling some obscenities that we won't repeat at Leptospirosis.
Yeah, Clenched Cheeks, should we say the junior war dancer on his team. He's a lot to live up to with the competition from dancing leagues. Obviously, one of the star players on this team, very experienced war dancer, and this guy has really learnt the ropes the hard way. But he's slowly making a name for himself in this team, and he's getting there. He's definitely one to watch. And from what I have seen of him in the past, he's very capable of pulling off some fantastic plays.
All right, I decided to switch the camera view back to offense so we can get a better shot here of Lepto. He insists on the photo opportunity, and he's earned it, frankly. Three-die block. Isn't that the name of a podcast?
Sounds like a death metal band.
That would be kind of a cool name for a death metal band until they find out that it's basically about some kind of tabletop role-playing type game.
Goblins and elves and pixies.
Yeah, then it's not as cool as it sounded. It's cool to us, but nobody else in the universe.
Lots of guys with no girlfriends sitting in the basement playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
Well, I have a fiance, but she hates me whenever I play this. She has called me a nerd before when I play this. She'll walk in and go, roll her eyes and go, "You're such a nerd." Oh, look at that little celebration dance right there. And Leptospirosis gets his camera time.
What a dancer. He's the greatest dancer.
Just Stevie saying maybe Lou should be visual. Yeah, we don't have that picture of Lou that we normally do. I'm sure it's probably a good thing, because if we could see the faces that Lou's making right now, it probably wouldn't be funny. But Just Stevie saying he should be visual so he could take inspiration from #BadShirtGate. He did play better with the bad shirt on.
Yeah, he's not wearing a shirt for this match. It obviously has been a good luck charm for him. He's actually decided to play this game naked and smother his body in goose fat.
Yikes. He's been hanging out with, maybe he's been doing a little training with Greased Up Deaf Guy a little bit too much in the off-season and picked up some bad habits. You can't stop me! Here I go!
My name is Jeff.
So, Just Stevie is predicting a one-turner. To me, you got 2 turns to go, and that may have been, NTB might actually feel more comfortable giving Lou 2 turns than 1, because we do know that U-turn can 1-turn, and it might be easier to stop them on the 2-turn if they send some receivers downfield and set up than it is to even stop the 1-turns. We'll see.
There are a couple of 1-turners on this team, and to be honest, I don't think Lou will be that bothered if U-Turd does actually score, even though he can't excel himself anymore. Obviously, points mean prizes, and the touchdowns matter.
And yeah, I think, Harry, that was a strategic move by NTB, saying, you know what, look how he's set up. He's not even really set up to prevent the 1-turn. He's giving it to him. He's like, go ahead, try it. And if you're successful, I'll just do it right back to you.
Yeah, I have seen this team a couple of seasons ago where it probably was antivirus, if I'm honest. They received the ball directly from kickoff and just picked up and ran directly straight into the end zone. Yep. Never seen it happen before.
Well, both sides have a player that can do that. You look at U-turn, he's got movement 9, sprint, and oh no, he needs 1 chain push. Sorry, he needs 1 chain push, and then he's in the end zone. Yeah, Han doesn't even need a push; he can just run. Just go, Han, go.
So the ball kicks off by the Skaven team, and as we look up there, tell you what we've missed. Unbelievable, Jim. So the score in this MML Pro game between the Rodentia and Nauseam 1, the Harrelsons 0. It's Blood Bowl Thursday.
How could we have missed that?
I know.
Oh, probably because I rambled for 3 minutes before I even let you say your name.
Yeah, I think that's before you have to take a breath, isn't it? So,
It's my
so
diver
they're
training.
blitzed by. All right, Flipper.
See a little sideline screen going up here. This is what Wood Elves like to do. The guy who really was famous for doing it in the MML for a long time was Coach Sacerdotalist when he coached the Seattle Treehawks. And Lou is trying to set up for an unstoppable side screen. See if he's successful.
Successful in bringing down the line rat. He's ready to stun him this time round there with a flying kick. His clenched cheeks.
I'll tell you, Harry, for a rat team that has so many injuries and just they've been through war, and these guys are not fresh, and they're resilient as hell.
Yeah, held together with nuts and bolts. This team carrying a lot of injuries, but they still persevere, and they do get the results they want on many times.
Yeah, and that was the passer there was Fumble Fingers, who I don't know if we actually pointed it out before. No, I don't think we did. Fumble Fingers led the Wk4 conference in throwing last season with only 74 yards, but he led them. And their backup thrower was Himalar the Healer, who had 32. He didn't lead anything with that, but he was third in the WFC. The WFC does not throw a lot.
The ball in their hands of U-Turd, the very talented Elven catcher. Obviously, he doesn't have the capability, the lungs and the legs to get all the way to the end zone, and he knows that, so he's quite happily sitting behind his conga of Wood Elves right there. Do do do, come on and join the conga. Do do do, Wood Elves across the floor.
And see. This kind of wide zone cage might be a done deal for most teams that they're playing against. The speed of the Skaven, though, really lets them get back on D and adjust to this kind of offense. So let's see. Let's see if it's successful, or let's see if NTB's got a little defensive play in his pocket to change the flow of how this is going right now.
Yeah, they do have the numbers. Or to just swarm in front of the Elves there. But give U-Turd an opportunity and he will take it, and he can probably score with the slightest gap. So.
Bernie Buffon agreeing with you, saying, let's go U-turn, let's go U-turn. And Just Stevie saying more like poo-turn.
Oh, that's a biggie, that. Mumps wanting to get involved as well.
Yep.
That's a biggie.
He's a very disciplined rat ogre. We haven't seen him go rogue yet.
Not at all.
This is pretty smart on the rat side. And we can do an analysis of the defense after NTB's done setting up, because both coaches are listening live and we don't want to affect the play here. But, I mean, I know NTB knows what he's doing. Yeah, so it's very clear he is NTB is accounting for the leaping skills of Dancing Leaps, basically, because I mean, you got it. One thing is they can block off U-Turn's path and make his dodges really difficult. Wait, is U-Turn a leaper too? Oh Lord, yes, he leaps. Oh Lord, you don't even have to worry about the War Dancer.
Oh.
U-Turn is a one-man show.
Like Carl Lewis there, which is ineffective. And then
Alright,
big heap on the sideline.
This is about as good a defense as you can put in the way of a guy like U-Turn. And let's see if he's going to prove to everybody, including Coach Luliz, why he should have had the ball from the very beginning. U-Turn's like, look, just give me the ball, shut up, sit back, coach, let me do this.
Yeah, this just makes it a little bit tricky now, especially with that leaper being sat there as well. He's crash landed.
I think Lou right now is just trying to figure out how many dice he's comfortable throwing. I mean, the percentages are good in his favor, but he's got no rerolls left. So Leap does not give you it does not give you I'm sorry. There's no automatic reroll skill for Leap, so you've got one shot to pull it off with a 67% chance on the Leap. But Lou is considering maybe he wants to throw some dice the other way and try to clear the path a little better.
Yeah, he's not rushing into any rash decisions here. He's carefully planning this one through, strategically trying to mastermind it to get into for that touchdown to equal the score.
He's not going to bother with any blocks. He's going to just say YOLO, and that's a rat thing, but he's going to call it YOLO for U-turn. The leap is successful.
A successful leap for the Harrelsons, and he goes in for an equalising touchdown. That's U-turn, scoring a touchdown now for Rodentia at Nauseam 1. The Harrelsons 1.
He makes it look so easy.
Thursday.
Makes it look so easy. That's like I've had a couple of as we've mentioned this before. Weeks 4 and 5 of the MML will be the ground zero for our new upcoming MML highlights that right now we'll be releasing every 2 weeks by our very own A Man in Tights, aka Tights, aka Tight Man.
We're men in tights. We roam around the forest looking for fights. May look like pansies, but give us half a chance, we'll put out your lights.
And there have been already a few plays that you could arguably say, because we're only taking the top 10 plays for the 2 weeks, right? And generally we're probably going to want no more than one from each game. You know what I mean? Like one from one game, right? Unless there's like a stark exception. But so far we've seen a couple of pretty good plays that wouldn't be bad submissions for the highlight film. But, honestly, I feel like these are kind of, based on the talent on these teams, those are kind of like not really the best that we're going to see. I feel like we're going to see more of this game. This is exciting so far, 1-1, and I think the best highlight is yet to come.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to say highlight that yet.
Both very capable of pulling off some proper BS. Let's agree with you. It's not something we've seen from either team yet. They've both scored some very good touchdowns. It's not what we'd expect of them. We know that both teams are capable of better, and I think we are going to see some magic in the second half.
This is skillful play on the side of Lou. I just want to point this out. So when you create your little line here to make it difficult for a one-turner to run through, right? You see how he's mapped it out. So there's 2 tackle zones, 2 tackle zones, 2 tackle zones in each square, and then the guys on the end, he's putting his tackle piece on the end here. I don't know why he's backing him all the way up there, though. Maybe he's scared that the Rats would be able to cover the distance to actually land a blitz on one of these players. So he moved his guys back. Generally, you'd put him on this line right here, about 4 meters out for the touchdown for the end zone, because you want to make sure that there's 3 dodges they have to make. When you push your players back here, though, you've made it so now it's only 2 dodges.
Maybe he was thinking one of the Skavens is capable of a blitz at that distance, is it? And again, no. I don't know.
That's what he's thinking. That is what he's thinking. Lou said he wants to make sure he covers the wrestle blitz, because he knows that there is another. There's Cutter Leishmaniasis, and he probably has seen NTB do this before in the past. Cutter can cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spaces just on his own, and probably go for it a little more. So if he lines them up here on the 22-yard line, Cutter can reach him with a wrestle blitz. He can mark him up with one gunner runner, come in with a wrestle blitz on another in Dauntless, and then completely open one of the tackle zones. So it's actually smart play by Lou on that end, a good adjustment. Yeah.
Smart play and Lou in the same sentence. I've not heard that before.
Lou's a smart coach. He is a smart coach. I'm sure this is not. Lou is a student of the game, and here's the advantage I think that us as announcers have. I'll say this. I mean, I think that when you frequently announce, you get to watch some of the best players in Blood Bowl. you know, and you start to pick things up, you know. And Lou has watched so many games. You know, there's a lot to be learned by playing yourself, obviously, but you know, by being the guy playing, calling the plays. But sometimes you can learn more by sitting on the sidelines and watching what somebody else does and observing something you may not have thought before. The more you announce games, you regularly watch other people's games, you start to pick up some really good moves. And like I said, I'm sure Lou has picked up tendencies from other players around the league, and he's probably seen NTB do some pretty cool stuff to people who were unsuspecting, and he's prepared for whatever NTB's ready to throw him.
Fantastic kick there by the Harrelsons, putting that ball deep in the half. Practically on the end zone of the Rodentia ad nauseam now. It's a great lens to recover that and bring it back up to the line of scrimmage.
That definitely is a great kick. That's going to definitely make it tougher. More dice for NTB to throw. And that's all you can really do. You can't stop him from getting into the end zone. There's no way you can 100% prevent him from getting into the end zone right now. But you can make it harder.
Is Han Alipa? He's not, is he? No.
Just passes right away. Feet to Cutter. Using a pass there. There was no advantage in him moving. That's a quick pass. And he's going to just hand it off from there to Han. Han now has the ball. So some of the hard work is done. We're going to see no, he's not a leaper. Han's not a leaper. So, I mean, we're going to be seeing straight up dodge and sprint. So it's a 83% for each go for it, and then he's going to have to roll the dice twice on dodges. Han is not particularly agile, not more so than any other gutter runner. So dodging into 2 tackle zones, that's a 50% chance, if I'm not mistaken, right? And he's got the built-in dodge reroll, but, I mean, that's only going to help him for...
Well, if he utters the immortal war cry of YOLO, anything can happen.
Yes. Yeah, if he does it, if he yells YOLO, we know he'll harness the power.
Embrace the YOLO. Yes. Yes.
Really piss Breach off. Give him flashbacks.
I think he's picking his targets here.
Yeah.
YOLO.
Okay, here it goes.
Stay out.
And here he comes, dancing down the pitch, dodging imaginary bullets. He spies the gap. He throws the dodge, and he's brought down hard, and he knocks himself out right on the end zone. Wow.
That's the first time I've seen a YOLO fail. So whatever it was that Lou yelled must have been the counter to it. What did you yell, Lou? Halftime interview.
Ollie.
We're not allowed to swear on the chat.
That's what he said?
Halftime. Now, in this MML game on behalf of the Mead and Mayhem League, check us out. MMLpro.com. Rodentia ad nauseam 1. Harrelsons 1. Week 7. I tell a lie. Week 4. Season 7. It's Blood Bowl Thursday.
There's been so much action that it might as well be Week 7. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Joe Fros is in the chat saying Oloy is the counter to YOLO, and that's what Luliz must have said.
Oloy.
He doesn't. He says, but I don't think he shouted Olo. Or whatever he shouted, that's the first time I've seen a called YOLO fail in the MML. Well, period, anywhere.
I think I heard him shout, "Die, motherfucker, die."
Oh, is that what Die Motherforker, huh? That must be the counter to YOLO. Because he actually did get knocked out. He didn't die, but he did get knocked out. So there must have been some pretty strong...
You got knocked the fuck out. Now give me my money.
Good movie, good movie. Great movie, actually. And Bernie yelling out, YOLO is a fraud. I'm wondering, why does it look like there's so few? Because there's still these two guys back, all the way back. So it looks like Harrelson's fielding a full team here on defense. And as the Rats are going to take the offense. Both sides, I mean, this kill box is barren. Normally, I mean, even though these two teams are AB7, you would think, you know, two AB7 teams fighting it out normally ends up pretty damn bloody, and both sides, the kill box is empty. Jofro responding, Bernie, do not deny the YOLO. And Bernie saying, preach, you owe me $100 for publicly denouncing YOLO. But Jofro's saying, well, the problem here is that the guy that shouted YOLO is not the legendary Spawn. So that's the problem. YOLO, you can't defeat Spawn's YOLO.
Is he still blowing smoke at Spawn's ass? That's all he does.
He loves Spawn, and Spawn loves the attention.
Have to excuse me, I'm in the middle of doing a bit of redecorating here.
No problem.
Put a picture back.
You're burying that body in the floorboards you told me about?
I've told you I don't do that. I either feed them to the pigs or put them in the lime pit.
There you go. Much smarter.
Yes.
If I had only known that in my younger years, I wouldn't have done all that time in that Mexican prison.
Put the lotion in the basket. Rub the lotion in the skin.
Please, mister, my family will pay you lots of money. Put the lotion in the basket. Please just let me go.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket.
So Han unable to get it done in the first half. And we'll see if he does get her done in this one. Han was the leading SCC rusher last season with 376 rushing yards. That's a lot of rushing yards, and yet the league had so many good rushers last season that he was the only number 8 total in the MML. Meanwhile, Scylla, the sprint champ, 296 himself, no number to shy at, and he had 296 and led the WFC, and yet he was number 12 overall.
Was that deliberately?
Maybe there's some tripwire over there. I don't know.
Jeez.
Jofro says
dude, he's sacrificed to Nuffle, dude.
Jofro saying he's loading up 5, or somebody out in the stands is loading up 5 dignity rocks.
With you in a minute.
This is, man, so Han Tavares, speak of the devil, just getting the ball kicked directly to him.
What? Ready as a devil.
This really does leave NTB with a choice. I mean, does he want to take the easy points now?
Oh!
Big money! Big prizes!
Oh.
That is crucial. If the Apo is not able to do something, that could be game-changing. And look at that. The Apo comes over there, grabs him in the groin, tells him to cough a few times, leaves his hand down there for way too long, and all of a sudden, magically, Dancing Leaves is all right.
Oh, it's all dark in here. Best turn the light on, I can't see where I'm going. Hello?
I'm wondering here, does NTB take the immediate easy points, the easy score, or does he try to milk this for a little bit?
Not a Blair Witch project.
You faded out a little bit, so I heard Blair Witch.
Yeah, I said I don't like walking around my house in the dark.
Well, that's, if you don't do it in the dark, then people will see the dead body you're hiding, and then.
Exactly. Come to me, my pretty. Hi, I'm Candy. Yes, you are. Sorry, I'm just redecorating.
A little wide zone action here. So it looks like NTB is strongly, he's building a strong cage over here, kind of impenetrable. It looks like he's probably not going to score this turn. I think he's liking the fact that the War Dancer's off the pitch, and the other one is clear across the field, so he may just kind of, you know, milk this for a little longer and see if he can establish, build on those injuries.
Can you see if that picture's level I've just hung?
Oh yeah. That is level. The knife is just at the right angle.
Excellent.
Okay, make sure you don't forget to chop that finger up into little pieces.
No, that's for the ball afterwards.
Oh, okay. There you go. Josiah Frost saying you must be distracted there, Harry, because you should have said dancing leaves. I don't think I've ever heard you say dancing leaves in the special way. Oh, that way. Okay, there we go. Disco fever
So
style.
I'm just re-hanging a picture of Natalie Portman on the wall. I can masturbate furiously later.
You masturbate furiously to old portraits of Renaissance era women.
Oh, Natalie Portman. But unfortunately, it's a photo of her when she was in Leon when she was about 12 years old, so that makes it even worse.
No.
Don't even go there, girlfriend.
No.
Actually, no. I could be admiring Jin Reno because he's in the picture as well.
There you go. That's your better.
Anyway, we've got a ball game going on.
And
back in the booth.
just to be clear, I was saying nice. So Joe Frost is to the dancing leaves. I was saying nice, just to be clear. Not the other hideous things Harry's saying. Gotta be clear what you co-sign with Harry Warthog.
Say again?
I said you gotta be very clear what you're gonna co-sign when you're co-signing for Harry Warthog. It's like, I endorse the funny stuff, the creepy stuff, a little too much. A little too much. I'm not in for that. I didn't sign up for that.
Define creepy.
So now we can see why NTB made the decision not to just break for the end zone. He's thinking, hey, I'm going to milk this, these casualties a little longer. But the risk he's taking is now that these Wood Elves have managed to quickly get everybody over there. And I mean, I think it's safe to say, aside from Skaven, maybe Lizards, I think the fastest team is going to be Wood Elves, right? Generally. So this is probably, if you're going to stall on somebody and you had like a wide zone open, this is the team, one of the teams that could definitely close the gap quickest on you, and now you're seeing this. So this failure to #just score could potentially backfire on him. Reroll spent by Harrelsons.
It's one of them things though where obviously not the best defensive teams, but both very capable of pulling off all sorts of manoeuvres offensively. And you're saying stalling, we do have players on either team that can score from the halfway line near enough, so even if it stalls right up until turn 16, both teams are capable of scoring. It's an hard one. Oh.
There's that tail, trips up Hernwan. The rest of this team, very agile. I just thought that the problem with Journeyman is that he's probably never actually encountered a Skaven, a Rat Ogre tail before. And wasn't looking out for it. He was looking out for the claws swiping at him, and the tail trips him up, unable to dodge away. How will the rats respond here?
The ball in the hands of the talented gutter runner Hantavirus, who will be trying to chase a few moments more of glory to achieve legendary status. Rodentia Nauseam now making a play and moving forward to attack this oncoming Wood Elf barrage of pointy-eared freaks. Can they make a dent in this wall and escape through the gap? We shall see.
By the way, can anybody in the chat tell me, when did Gorbag get his SPP and become legendary? Was that this week or was that week 3? Or I don't know if you know, Harry.
I'm not sure. I think it was over a week ago, if I'm estimating.
Okay.
I remember somebody talking about it briefly. I caught the end of the conversation. I think it was over a week ago.
Oh, Gerd said week 3. Okay. So I was going to say, if it was the same week, then Han could literally get it this week, and then we could hear a cool debate about whether Gorbag technically really did get it early, because it was the same week, or earlier.
Well, of course, we do have a player on the Harrelsons team who does have enough experience to be considered legendary, of course. And unfortunately, gained all his experience in the farm with the reserve teams.
Yeah, so my
Living
take
good.
on that, Harry, is that I mean he should be recognized as having legendary status, but he's farm legendary. So I mean, yeah, he has legendary status in that case, but you know, of course, when you get into debates over the greats, right, it's going to be one of those things where like, yeah, but one of those guys made it here, and I don't know. I think it's a healthy barroom discussion.
Yeah,
Where it
I
becomes
think
kind of like a pain in the ass is when people are doing it for hours on Discord, you know, and then getting serious about it. I mean, come on, these are
I think
pixels.
it's when in the pros though they're under the spotlight a bit more. Obviously, we don't spotlight players in the farm, so they only come to the limelight when they are in the pros or
Right,
challenge league, should I say, which is now
right.
getting a lot more coverage over the last 2 seasons as well.
And Girdlia had posted in
Thanks.
the chat before, was this a purposeful like decoy like sacrifice of fumble fingers to the rats in some way? And look at that. So NTB's like, you know what? I'll score when I want to score. Han, sit back, relax, chill, and let your teammates continue to do these things to the Wood Elves.
Ew.
One thing I think definitely though, I guess it was curious to not use the blitz to, uh, to knock fumble fingers out because that could have been a permanent, permanent removal, especially with AB7 getting pitched into the stands like that. Um,
As
actually, I don't
you
know.
talking
What,
then, if you didn't notice, Cutter Leishmaniasis has actually broken free on the right flank, as I look at it, into
yep.
open field. But he's spied there by the eagle-eyed catcher, U-Turd.
I tell you,
She's
U-turn can cover
marking up
that
now.
ground.
I'd say the blocking skills really not up to scratch for the elves in this game. Really struggling to have any effect on the Skavens.
Yeah, they're really kind of not coming through. Sure, like Lou would say.
Is it Skavens or Skaven? I think Skaven, isn't it, plural?
Skaven, yeah, I think that is plural. Yeah, it's Fumblefingers getting the hell out of Dodge. Joe Fro commenting he looked nervous, as he should have been. He was locked into that sideline, but his friends freed him up.
Yeah, going up there to put some pressure on the ball carrier as well. I'm trying to force him into a decision.
And of course, Han having tied tied Ridar of the Witch's Coven last season for the lead in the SCC of most touchdowns scored. Han only has 6, so for somebody that has all the, all these rushing yards and has 170, he's closing in on 176 in legendary status. He hasn't scored that much, but he is one of the SCC leaders. He was tied for number 8 total. Actually tied for number 7 total in the MML. But NTB
But
does
here
not seem to be in a rush to get him
comes
that extra SPP
the
in the first.
blitz. The blitz is good. That shot, whatever you want to call him, is going down, and he's going down hard. He comes over with the cartwheel kick, hits him straight on the snout, and he goes down hard, and he falls down badly on his arm, and I can see the bone jutting out from here. That's gotta hurt.
That's what I was talking about. You had the opportunity to score earlier. He didn't take it. It was a calculated risk, but that risk looks like it may bite him in the ass here. Now he's got 3 Wood Elves. Again, the Skaven kind of take for granted that they're so much faster than everybody else, but Wood Elves can move, and with proper positioning, these rats might find themselves. I mean, now your thrower is gone. And I mean, you've got a very fast rat who can make it down the field and make a pass to this covered other runner over here. You could see a score this very next turn, but look at that. I mean, now it becomes a lot less likely.
Who's there? 1, 2. Yeah.
Lou says he messed up.
That's a nice play there by Harrelsons, though. They've come out of that situation quite well. It did seem as though they were cornered and hounded, packed into that corner there. They've actually managed to free up 4 players, put pressure on a ball carrier. You've got to admire that.
Definitely Lou is putting that pressure on him, and I think Lou may be saying he messed up because he left too many people open down the field. As such, right there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Strong
that becomes...
blitz by Dirtiest Randiest even. Not Radiest, Dandiest.
The claws, of course, mean nothing to these Wood Elves who don't wear much armor anyway. And
no, but we might add as well, though, Dirtiest Randiest is quite a horny character as well. Not just I don't know if he has claws. It's actually teeth, isn't he? He's actually got big, long teeth rather than claws.
So here's the thing. I mean, Lou has put NTB in a position where he's got to take a chance. And if that chance works out for him, then, I mean, this could be very dangerous, because then talk about a stall. I mean, you could see the Rats establish a deep screen and cage all the way down in the Wood Elf, in Wood Elf territory, with all these other Wood Elves struggling to get back. But if it fails, then you've got a legitimate shot at a very likely Wood Elf touchdown. So Lewis just said, let's roll the dice. Nuffle has been cruel, but you know what? Maybe this is where the tables turned.
It could well be the young line right there in his first game for the Rodentia ad Nauseam. That's Fidel Astrovirus, choosing to come over in the middle of the pitch on the Wood Elf logo and actually mark up Himmler the Healer, who is actually a trained pass blocker. So that could be quite a tactical play there.
NTB doesn't just know his personnel, he knows his opponents. The dodge is done. That speed. Now it's just a quick pass.
Pass is good. The catch is better. Ball in the hands of Cutter Leishmaniasis, one of the twins.
No pad. I mean, he was far enough away that the pass block skill didn't even come into effect here. He was just one square away. Maybe that's why Lou said he messed up, because he placed the pass block guy just a little too far away. And NTB's just going to score.
For the touchdown.
I actually thought that would have been a better time to stall out than than the one before, but he was just uncomfortable with too many dodgy Wood Elves around. You never know what's going to happen. And again, continuing theme in the MML, hashtag just score. I think NTB learned his lesson from not taking the easy score earlier. He had to roll a few dice. He had to roll more dice even than he would have if he just took the score earlier. Now this time around, and there's still plenty of time for the Wood Elves to score. So NTB says, screw it. We'll get into a shootout. I can do this with you.
Touchdown scored by Cutter Leishmaniasis to take Rodentia ad Nauseam into the lead. That's Rodentia ad Nauseam 2. The Harrelsons 1. It's Blood Bowl Thursday.
And the first touchdown was which gutter runner was it? It was leptospirosis, right? Yeah. So now this one is his teammate Cutter.
It's not easy to say.
Yep. Roik says NTB needs this win.
Yeah, obviously NTB's coach of the Rodentia Nauseam propping up the foot of the table, but that's not a highly accurate representation of the conference, as some teams do have a game in hand at the moment, so it's unfair to say he is actually in a position at the moment.
If he takes a loss, though, he will be at the bottom of that play pool.
But coming into this game with 1 tie and 2 losses, whilst the Harrelsons are coming with 2 wins and 1 tie.
Yep.
And now currently sitting at 3rd.
And Roik is pointing out, I mean, if Rodentia takes a loss here, they could find themselves in danger of relegation. Seston in the chat, our former Season 2 MML champ, predicting a tie. And I have not had the chance to read it yet, but Seston apparently put a Dignity story up on MMLpro.com. If you are not familiar with Dignity, some of the best stories that have ever been posted on the MMLpro.com website. I would suggest you go into the dashboard and click like all posts, and then just highlight, like, do searches for like Seston, and just look at all the articles he's written. Start with like the Dignity stories. You can even go back to the Cold Hard Truth. They're really, really good, and a lot of the Dignity fans very happy he's been writing about them again. I'm not sure if that means he's bringing them back in season 8. Seston took a sabbatical for season 7 from the MML, but he will be returning probably to the Challenge League in season 8, and I'll be interested to see which team he uses. Will it be Dignity? Will it be Cold Hard Truth? Will it be his newer team, the 7 Deadly Sins? Or will we be seeing somebody new altogether?
Exactly. At this point, I might add, any viewers out there in Twitchland who are unaware, this is an MML game on behalf of the Mead and Mayhem League. This is a pro game, Season 7, Week 4, between the Rodentia and Nauseam and the Harrelsons. Check us out on www.mmlpro.com.
And if you're tuning into this Twitch broadcast, a little treat for you. The former champ, saying he's declaring publicly, he's thinking maybe Dignity comes back season 8. So you heard it here first.
Well, they have been sitting in the crowd at many games over the last couple of seasons, just hoying rocks actually onto other players rather than actually getting involved in the action.
If you've never read a Dignity story, they are the ones that started this whole campaign of throw a rock, and they branded them Dignity Rocks, and fans were showing up and throwing rocks on behalf of Dignity, eliminating players that Dignity wanted gone, and they were even holding clinics at their stadium. The Grandiose, let me see if I remember it. It was called the Grandiose Majesty was the name of their stadium, if I remember correctly. And they were being, they were holding clinics there where Tenacity was teaching, Tenacity, rest in peace, was teaching his, fans how to properly throw a rock. Or was it Eccentric that was teaching people?
So the action again about to kick off now in this MML Pro game. Skaven's lining up to kick the ball goes up high, but the Harrelsons taking advantage of these slow-witted rats and moving before the ball even lands and setting themselves up in position and able to outmaneuver and mark up the Skavens on the line of scrimmage now. It appears as though that ball is suspended in midair as we watch the speed of these Wood Elf players move into position, moving like lightning. Still waiting for that ball to land. It's as if where time stood still.
I'll tell you, Harry, this was a risk. So obviously, Lou has just said, "Screw it. You want to play this quick score battle? I'm just gonna out offense you. You want to play that game?" And he lines everybody up for the one turns, and we might start seeing these guys just go full offense. That being said, to line your players up this way against the Skaven team is basically tempting Nuffle to blitz you. If there was a blitz there, this game would have been over. So Lou taking a big chance, especially when there was plenty of time for Harrelsons to kind of to play it safe and orchestrate a 2-turn strike or something, and then still give the ball back, get it back, that kind of thing. But Lou is impatient, and he's like, you know what, screw it, let's just get this done now. Could have easily backfired on him.
As we do look at the centre of the pitch, there is an opening in the Skaven defence, as if Moses himself has come down to the halfway line, the centre spot, and parted the waves like the Red Sea. But as I am rambling on and talking gibberish, we see a blitz and an injury to a Skaven player who is writhing in the floor in pain and agony as he is carried off by his teammates. I do apologise for getting a bit biblical then.
No, it's awesome, but I just gotta say at this point, Harry, this is the kind of risks. This is this is great when it works. It's just Louis taking some serious risks at this point. Where if this goes badly, it's still touchdown the other way. I mean, all he needs is a set of ones. And
no pressure, Lou. No pressure, kid. The pass is good, but the catch is better. The ball in the hands of their star player, U-Turd, who sees his opportunity, sprints down the middle of the pitch, He slows down on the team logo. He spits on it, carries on running, takes his time, does extra yard for his coach as he paces precariously towards the end zone. He stops and he leaps in and scores the touchdown to equalise this game. Rodentia Nauseam 2, Harrelsons 2, U-turn the scorer. It's Blood Bowl Thursday.
That's what he should have done from the very start. That's what everybody's saying. And, man, that's Lou just, he's saying, screw it. All right, I'm not going to coach. I'm just going to give the ball to U-turn. U-turn said, Coach, stop trying to play around with these plays. Just give me the damn ball, and I'll take care of it. Lou declaring publicly that was the worst one-turn touchdown he's ever set up. But, hey, it works. I mean, there wasn't even – he had so much confidence in U-turn that none of the other players even ran down the field in case something bad happened and he tripped and wasn't able to make it in the end zone. That's how much confidence they had in him.
Yeah, we still have over a full quarter to play in this game. It's far from over. I'm sure we can fit in at least another 2, 3, maybe 4 touchdowns.
Bernie saying in the chat, the score is U-turn 2, Rats 2. It's pretty much a true statement. U-turn just does whatever he wants to do. He has single-handedly put this Harrelsons team on his back.
Yeah, he's definitely well worth the goal that Lou has forked out for him. I know he's received a lot of criticism in the league, bringing this unknown farm player into the professional ranks. But he's really given his all for this team, and he's really performing, and he's getting the results as well.
The nerve of Lou to bring in a good transfer. Am I right?
I know. Whatever was he thinking? I mean, really, he should have brought in a niggled, unskilled lineman, really, couldn't he? But, no, he chose to bring in this guy.
He should have been careful of everybody else's feelings that, you can't bring in too good of a transfer target, or else we got to start talking about changing the rules, calling it the Lou rule.
True. The Lou rule, yeah.
Not Seston in the chat cheered. By the way, Seston said it was Royalty. That's right. Royalty was training fans to throw rocks. And while he's at it, Joe Fro asking for another rock. Bernie Buffon saying he is an unknown now. Go U-turn. And Seston is cheering, rock, rock. We want rock. And Joe Fro agreeing with Seston. Will the audience respond?
If you smell what the rock is cooking. And the ball was kicked off now by the Harrelsons. Was that a perfect defense?
It was. It was a perfect defense. So it seems like Lou does want to coach on defense. So on offense, he's just giving the ball to U-turn and letting him go. U-turn gives Lou permission to coach this team for defense. And Lou's good defensive coaching enables his players to anticipate what the Rats are going to do on offense. And right before the ball is kicked off, or as the ball is kicked off, there's an immediate shift in the Woody's defense. And they seem to be just where they need to be to counter the way that the Rats are set up.
Definitely, we're not going to see the one-turn touchdown right now, but we do have the ball in possession of the Skaven team, and they will make full use of this final quarter of this game to make the touchdown. I think we may see the long haul now.
Apparently, somebody, by the way, on that kickoff, Harry, somebody from the crowd actually did hurl a rock onto the field. However, their accuracy needed a little work, and it didn't hit anybody. But that person who threw the rock was last dragged off, being heard yelling something about legendary and all that. So
I wonder who that could be.
I don't know. Don't know.
Sounds a bit of a weirdo, if you ask me.
I think he was going on and on about a legendary spoon or something. I don't know what makes a spoon legendary, but...
We're off to Buttermoon, we followed Mr. Spoon, Buttermoon.
Maybe he likes the spoon in a legendary fashion. I don't know. So the Woody's going heavy to one side.
It's a very interesting formation there. I'm not sure. Is this what Joe Fro might call what did he call it last night? A quangle or something? Or a quasi?
Let's see, this is interesting. Again, though, I mean, normally you would never do this to Skaven, right? Just leave a movement 7 Storm Vermin who could, I mean, he could receive the ball, go downfield over here, put himself out of reach. You would normally never leave him out there like that, but, Wood Elves have the speed to cover the entire field from where they're at, so. Jofro calls it a quasi. Why is it a quasi?
It's a Miranda. I don't know. He said it was some sort of half shape type thing. To be honest, he was boring me, and I switched off after about the first 5 seconds.
And in the chat,
sorry,
of course, like we do with everything. The MML to me is like that. Is like basically the Blood Bowl version of Cheers. Like somebody will say something, and it'll turn into this extended barroom style debate that they're going on about what the proper rock is to throw. And Roik is saying they should have thrown a dwarf rock, and then Stu is saying, nah, why not just throw a dwarf? And then they're arguing about how many rocks is it proper to throw. And now pretty soon they'll be arguing about drift, and Trip will come in and say no. I personally know that the drag on this particular rock is not perfect. It's hilarious.
It's
Though.
like,
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Was it Cliff and Norm?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
Cliff and Clavin.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Norm. Would you say that it's
Yeah, great program.
It was awesome. I actually went back recently and watched the entire Cheers episodes on Netflix. It was still good today.
Very young Woody Harrelson.
Yep. I think that's what Louliz's team watches in the locker room to get themselves hyped up for games.
They'll do a little song before the match starts.
Yeah.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you gotta go where everybody knows your name. That one.
By the way, Stu in the chat imitating Trip saying, no, take this rock instead. I know this is the best rock. And now Jofro complaining that other people in the audience are throwing rocks at him. And now he's throwing a rock back at Stu.
Right? Who threw that? Come on. Nobody is going to throw anything until I blow this whistle. Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah.
And while we've been going on and on, the Rats have been taking care of business over here. Sillalith, sprint champ, knocked out of the match. Badly hurt. They stopped him while he was down. That was vicious. Salmonella came over there and gave him a nasty boot.
Ooh.
Failed pass. That could be big. Wow, this game has everything. So Cutter running up, throwing the ball over to, it looks like Dirtiest Randius he tried to throw it to, or maybe it was Han Tavares. It was Han. Han failed the catch. He bumbled the catch. And that ball is now laying there, surrounded completely by rats, but it is not impossible for this thing to be freed up. Lou's just got to figure out the way to do it.
Are there any women here today? Oh, no. Right, you, back in the queue. Come on.
So, wow, Nuffle is not kind to Harrelsons in this moment, aside from, being mean to the Rats, but the reroll used to try to free the ball up, and all he manages to do is push it into more tackle zones. That is 5 tackles.
Yeah.
Dude, at this point, that ball, you ain't getting that ball unless it goes somewhere. Curiously, Luke just keeps pushing people into that ball and letting it scatter when there's a bunch of rats around. And Nuffle starts to be nice.
Oh, this has given the Harrelsons an opportunity.
Wow. This is, wow. That is game-changing right there. That is huge, huge, in the words of Archibald Drumpf. Huge like my hands. And I am actually surprised. See, Himmelar the healer was
Wow.
adjacent to him, so he didn't put it in the hands of Himmelar. He puts it in the hands of oh, that's why I'm not surprised at that. Fumble Fingers is their main thrower. So,
We still got plenty of time. Yeah, we're still just going into the final quarter of this game now, so there's still plenty of time on the clock. No need to go for the quick score.
yeah, nobody for the Wells downfield, like you said, but this is going to be interesting to see what they do from here. So he's going to sit.
You're running the wrong way! Turn around!
Fumble Fingers is back. It looks like he's still in the range, technically, of Mumps, even though Mumps would have to.
Run, Forrest, run! Forrest, gone.
See, anybody that plays, and I will say this out loud, Lou can never complain about dice. He throws so many of them per game. I mean, I don't throw near this many dice. You know, just so when it happens, I mean, when you get the 1 and 6,
that was built-in rerolls.
Yeah, but there are a lot of dodges. A lot of dodges.
I'm hearing voices. The voices have started again. What's that?
That's what I'm saying. Is elf coaches crack me up when they do this, and they're like, "Oh, Nuffle screwed me." You know, on my 76 dice roll with the dodge, I failed. I got double ones. Like, dude, a lot of dice.
I think we should see a Rogue Blitz here.
I'm not saying they're bad moves. I'm just saying there are a lot of dice being rolled, and it's you get burned sometimes when that happens. I can see why you would do it, but Wealth Life is one of those things. You kind of live by the dice and you die by the dice. So
this is very similar to the game I played against the Power Hour last night, where he broke free with the ball like that, and the only player that could reach him was the Minor. He blitzed and took him down, but unfortunately then he got the numbers advantage and picked the ball up and scored again. But I love to see the big guys blitz.
Are we going to be seeing that here, or are they going to seal them off? I don't know.
Well, we can take that guy away a little free, you know, and him. No, we're going to mark him up first.
Wow, there's so much ground he covers. And that's not even their fast one. Cutter is getting in the way of Fumble Fingers in case Fumble Fingers wants to take some long strides and try to force him to make a long throw.
Oh, and clenched cheeks and very clenched as he goes down. And in doing so, in clenching his cheeks, he strained his groin in the process. I think he was clenching the wrong side.
Wow. That's huge. Cheek's going to be out for next game. Only one War Dancer.
Oh, naughty Roger.
Yeah, it's Stu pointing out, Wealth throw as many dice as they can. Yes, I agree with that. It's just, again, I'm not saying it's the wrong play. There just seems to be almost this sense of entitlement among Wealth coaches that they shouldn't ever get double ones, and they throw so many dice that it's like, when somebody complains that, oh, Nuffle screwed me, and they got double ones after they threw it like so many times.
We do have the who's the ball? Maybe not.
That's all I'm saying. The Welves come with advantages. They can do things that other teams can't do, but you got to risk to do it. So.
Nice play, Darius Randy is marking up Dancing Leaves.
Yeah.
Who was actually a touchdown threat stood there.
So do you think? Okay, wait. The blitz has been used, and he wild animaled on it. I missed that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the curse of the big guy is out of the hero or the villain. Oof.
Yeah. Oh, everything you're saying is right, Stu. I'm not saying Lou is wrong for that. I'm just saying that there are a lot of you Wealth coaches throw so many dice, just like Skaven coaches actually do with the gutter runners. They throw a lot of dice.
Oh dear. We still have
so I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel like they got nuffled when they get burnt because it's bound to happen over time.
Oh, does he bring him down? He's a wrestler. No. Oh no.
So Dancing leaves, trying to avenge his fallen teammate, but doesn't do anything other than knock down Cutter, and then backs up to play to put himself in a almost unstoppable scoring position if he gets his hands on the ball.
And we may see a. Ooh, maybe we won't see the pass to
This is going to be
U-turn.
interesting. He's
That's
going
not
to
the
do
play.
it right past
That's not the
Mumps.
play it's not the play I had in my head, but it's effective.
Mumps unable to. He just looks at the ball as it passes by him, like, "Rrr," and U-turn. Look who has the ball again. This time he does get a little help from his teammates. He didn't do it all by himself. Fumble fingers, dodging over, making a decent length pass. Gets it in the hands of U-turn, and U-turn could score right now. The question is, will he? Or are they going to stall this?
I think he may actually not score.
Bernie, the stew now jumping in saying U-turn 3, Rats 2, LOL. No, I think it's safe to say that was a team effort. Fumble Fingers had to dodge away with people in his face, made a tough pass. Well, it may be tough for other people. I don't know if it was very tough for him, but I didn't see what the role was.
Does free up his teammate there, the young journeyman who can provide that little bit of extra protection for U-turn. Choosing to go that way around.
I don't, Harry. I don't know if you get the bang for your buck on the stall out because I don't know how long he can keep it up.
I have no idea what bang for your buck means. It
Well,
put me round and slang for something rather rude.
Instead of 3 turns to score, NTB will have 2 turns to score, and just with these teams, I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes.
Oh dear. Oh dear, Mr. Frodo, sir, you didn't want to do that, sir.
Unless, I guess Lou is thinking maybe NTB tries to force himself into a position, force him to score next turn. He thinks he can stall it for 2 more turns. I don't know. And maybe he's just like, why even risk the go for it? I don't need to. I'm going to screen him off. NTB can't get to my player right now. Yeah, that was a smart play.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't think it was a stall. I think he just didn't have the movement without going for it. And he's like, why even throw the dice? Which again is very disciplined for a Wood Elf coach.
His German is very disciplined.
Ooh. Now we're gonna see
the blitz.
Yeah. You'll see this poor journeyman who's just standing there like a deer in the headlights, ready to get abused by Dirtiest Randiest, and Knuffles does know it first, but Dirtiest Randiest did some extra training this week, and he's gonna get the job done. Yeah, Stu saying that the reason that Lou didn't just score on that one is he was remembering my words like I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why throw the dice? I don't need to. Just said I didn't need to throw dice.
These aren't the elves you're looking for. They can go about their business. Move along. Move along.
I'm sure Lou is not listening to me on how to play his Wood Elves.
You can strike me down, MTB, but I will grow more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Oh, that's good too, man. Your impressions are pretty damn good. Pretty good. Speaking of Storm Vermin, Raffi, with the mighty blow, decides not to knock him. Okay, yeah, because he's a blodger. Okay, pushes him against the wall. Okay, for some reason I thought that was something else.
Here comes the Blitz. Attacking the War Dancer. Dancing leaves right in that blow well and just stumbling backwards.
Yeah, Harry Seston impressed with your Obi-Wan impression as well.
That was my Chewbacca.
I don't have enough phlegm in my throat to do that right now. Something to do.
The beauty of doing Chewy is that you can turn it into the Predator as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, so the rats are flooding the field. They are not going to let Harrelson stall this out for another turn. Nice. I can't do it right now. You an ugly motherfucker.
Want some candy?
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Come
on, I'm here. I'm here now. Come kill me. Do it now.
You ain't got time to bleed. You got time to duck. I'm afraid, Major. There's something out there. And it ain't no man. We're all gonna die.
U-turn doing a little celebration dance into the end zone.
If that's not. And U-turn in for his hat-trick of touchdowns, taking the Harrelsons into the lead. Score now in his MML Pro Game Season 7, Week 4. Rodentia and Nauseam 2. The Harrelsons 3. It's Blood Bowl Thursday.
Somehow that shady individual who was prior escorted out of the stadium for chucking a errant rock onto the field has made his way back into the stands and appears to be sharpening yet another rock. We have the signs up, and the fans are have the sign saying rock. This is tough, though, for Harrelsons because, look, with these two players out, they just don't have the personnel to keep these rats from doing whatever they want to do.
It might all go on the kickoff event, see what the fans' reaction is to the ball being kicked off. Will they have an important factor in this game now?
The Wood Elves sitting everybody back by the end zone, basically telling the rats, you're going to score in one turn or you're not going to score at all. This has been a hell of a match. I mean, very, very, very exciting. I think I definitely will be recommending one of these plays for a highlight that play. I wasn't convinced that we'd seen the best yet. I'm thinking it might come down to the very end. But if you had to pick something so far, guys in the chat, was there a particular play that you think deserved to be on the highlight reel or at least be considered for contention?
Oh, give up. I've got a memory like Dory from Finding Nemo.
I don't know. I've never seen that movie, so you'll have to explain that one to me.
You are joking. You've not lived.
No, yeah.
Wow.
So,
Dude,
so what's the...
First you was like, whoa.
Is that a good memory or a bad memory?
Whoa. You're like, whoa. Wow. I don't. To be honest, I can't recall. I just live on the spur of the moment, riding the crest of the wave, and that's how I live.
So Joe Frost saying he didn't see the whole match, possibly because he may have been escorted somewhere.
It start off quite slow. It's not what we'd expect from a Wood Elf or a Skaven team, where they were jostling for position with the ball in the bash fest. And then the second half has just been somewhat completely different. It's more what we've expected from these teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure if slow was the word for it, but maybe just not as offensive as we thought. Because there was a lot of action. It just didn't, it just wasn't up on the scoreboard necessarily in the first half. So, Joe Furrow likes the touchdown. Fumble Fingers throwing it right past the Ogre for the touchdown to U-turn. I'm leaning a little bit. I think the leap from U-turn for the first score was maybe more exciting, or maybe, I don't know.
And just as we saw earlier on in the game, the Skaven now taking advantage of the ball being hoisted high up in the air. And they're positioning their players before the Wood Elves can even see the ball land. They're taking advantage of their dim-wittedness even. And moving quick on the snap. The ball still precariously up in the air. It appears that it's suspended as if some ethereal hand is interfering with this game and hoisting that ball up there while the players can move about an extra yard or so. But of course it isn't, because this game is live and that doesn't really happen. Take a breath.
And while that was happening, another rock sailed past that high kick. This one was pitiful. I mean, it fell on the sideline. So whoever's throwing that really needs to maybe attend one of those clinics that Royalty has been hosting. Maybe that's the problem. Royalty hasn't been hosting clinics in a while, and maybe with Dignity returning, whoever keeps throwing those errant rocks needs to get some training, because you're not very good at it.
We may be seeing an equalising touchdown now with a little quick pass to Virus. Oh, is he choosing to start with that ball?
Yeah, it's just a tough decision for the Rats, because again, I mean, like, Lou is leaving it open for him at this point. He's basically saying, run into my end zone. He has the opportunity, and if he doesn't take advantage of it, the Wood Elves might be able to close that gap.
And the short pass by Salmonella now in the hands of the star player of the Rodentia Nauseam. That's Virus. Eagerly waiting to get legendary status. If he scores this touchdown, he will reach the peaks, the ranks that so few have achieved.
Yeah. Good call.
But here comes the blitz, and the blitz is good. Raffy going in hard on Himmler the Healer. He brings that left arm up and strikes down with all his anger and furious vengeance, and lays his power upon thee, and brings him down, and the elf is stunned on the grass.
You know, something I didn't notice here, there was a pass thrown in the vicinity of a pass blocker. Did it not activate, or just did Lou choose not to move him?
I choose just to mark him because it makes the catch a little bit harder.
Yep.
Because if I fail the dodges, it doesn't make the pass harder.
Cool. Yep.
Here we go then, this for legendary.
Here we go.
Tripwire. Lou's employed the services of some snipers in the crowd.
Han looks over to his coach, NTB, says, "Can I do it, boss?" NTB gives him the go-ahead, and we are seeing MML history. Han to Virus,
Congrats,
176.
Man,
Highlight that to tie up the game. That's the one I'm picking.
And that score equalising the game now in this MML Pro Game Season 7, Week 4 between the Rodentia Nauseam and the Harrelsons. Rodentia Nauseam 3, Harrelsons 3. It's Blood Bowl Thursday. Those viewers out there who are unaware, this is an exclusive MML broadcast on behalf of the Mead and Mayhem League. This is a pro game between the Rodentia and Nauseam and the Harrelsons. Season 7, Week 4, as I said, check us out on MMLpro.com. On there you'll see all sorts of stories, statistics, and podcasts about the coaches, the players, and the teams. Register on the website, join us in the farm, play in the Challenge League, play in the pros, or many of the tournaments throughout the year. MMLpro.com.
And will we be seeing the Wood Elves respond? Will Harrelsons come back with a one-turner of their own? Or are they going to hold for the final shot into the end zone? Let's see.
Again, will the fans have a deciding factor on this game? Those rocks are being loaded up in the crowd right now. Very tense closure to this game now. Still plenty of time yet before the final whistle. Fans eager with excitement. Both teams try not to make any mistakes now. Slightest mistake can result in the other team scoring the winning touchdown.
And the crowd almost forgot the people in the crowd almost forgot to sharpen their rocks and get them ready because they were so wrapped up in the excitement of Han going 176, becoming legend. Wait for it, Derry.
Now the problem is Joe throws from that many rocks onto the pitch. It's like Stonehenge now.
And will somebody trip when trying to go for it due to one of these Dignity rocks laying around? You know, honestly though, I don't think most of these fans are even hitting the field with it though. They really, their arms need some work.
Joe throws like a girl.
That's an insult to girls, Harry.
True. Hairy girls, we love them.
Joe Fro saying that he's been putting his rocks on your tab. So you might be
yes, I've noticed. Sorry, I'll know where he lives. I'll go around and put them through his window later. I've got his address saved on my TomTom, so it's okay. I know where you live. Get a lot of working cars, if you know what I mean.
And you see in the Wood Elves, it's one of they're not playing around with this two-turn stuff. They are shouting out, they're dropping the gauntlet at these rats and saying challenge. Lou playing it a little bit conservative. They're actually setting up for what happens if there's a blitz.
That actually reminded me of an episode of The Cosby Show. That challenge, where there was a man tap dancing.
Fuck the blitz.
Look at that, Lou tempting Nuffle, saying, "I believe there will be no blitz."
Whoa.
And he's right. The crowd at this point, unable to reach the field, got frustrated and just started hurling rocks in the direction of the ref. The ref has cleared the field and is taking cover inside the tunnel. And there is no ref watching the action right now.
I think we still have time for 3 more touchdowns in this game.
Dancing Leaves not getting the job done.
Dancing Leaves.
And so it turns out Lou's not going to go for the one-turner. Instead, he has kind of tricked NTB, or in a way, he's setting his guys up to throw U-turn downfield and then set up a screen so the rats can't get to him.
Yeah, that's not a bad play, that really. We did have a number advantage. If you can...
well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
True.
So, you know, you can't win anyway. Either way, you do one, you'll do the other. So.
Yeah.
That's why there's a bit of a dog leg, just to kind of give a bit more freedom.
Yeah, and both of these teams are just super hard to defend against, and it really is. This is an exciting match for that reason. It's just like these guys know what the other one can do. There's no surprises. They fully scouted each other, and it's just one of these deals where they're taking their chances the only way they know how. So
ball in the hands of that man again, U-turn, who chooses to sprint up the pitch towards the Rodentia and Nauseam's end zone, pausing only momentarily to glint and wink at the cameras for the action shot for the girls. And he whistles for his teammates to provide that little bit of extra protection, because we all need that little bit of extra protection when we do meet the girls. Personally, I use a balaclava.
Now I'm seeing signs up in the crowd, and they're saying, "Where's the defense?" Little side cage action going there for U-turn. Lou being very patient. He didn't throw him all the way down the field right next to the end zone. Instead, he just put him easily within reach of that end zone.
Yeah, it's nice defensive formation there on the ball. It will be hard to penetrate, even with... I'm not sure if they can.
One more Wood Elf to move.
To be honest, I'm clueless here.
Yes, we know that, Lou. We've known you long enough to know that. Don't worry.
Yeah, because here...
Okay, don't explain yourself.
Let's see how the rats react to this on defense.
A chance, I think.
Take a chance on me. That's all I ask you to do.
For most teams, again, most teams playing defense, this kind of setup would be a wrap. You can't stop the offense. The rats have movement, though, and MTV putting that movement to use.
Yeah, obviously they might not be able to attack the ball carrier, but they will do their very best to stall them up in these dying moments of this game.
I'm telling you, man, this Bumps is as reliable an ogre as they come. An ogre of any kind. He is focused this match.
I say, chaps, can you hurry up? My rugby match kicks off in a couple of minutes.
Put your season at risk. Harry's got a rugby match. And the rats sitting up. Sal Manella drops back to limit their options. And like I said, the Rats got the movement. Looks like they're going to establish a column defense back there and make this difficult.
That was a nice play there by Coach NTB of the Rodentia Nauseam. Last-ditch play to prevent the touchdown going in for the Harrelsons.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, Fred.
Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go?
Which way did he go, George? Which way did you? I will love him and hug him and call him George.
Oh. This match has gone on for nearly 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
A little stoppages while they scored and did all these other things. He's going to go with the blitz.
Here comes the blitz, and the blitz is good. Rafi going in hard on Demiron. The catcher pushed back with full force. He double flips backwards and laid stunned on the ground now, which does make it a little more difficult to get those players up there to try and clear the wall.
Yep.
The guy to score the touchdown.
As Jofro points out, though, the only, you know, if the Harrelsons didn't have a reroll, I'd be a lot more worried for them. But even, you know, having the rerolls really does help a lot. And there you go. Look at that movement. That's pretty. Cutter jumping into position and decides to just straight up column it up.
Ooh, this is big. Successful block by Brainhoff on Rafi. Rafi going down. Clears the way.
Didn't hesitate. Lou did not even hesitate. He already had his game plan in mind.
Opens the gate now for Danson Leaves to come thundering in with the blitz, which he's...
What?
Oh!
U-turn decides not to do it himself. He gives it to the Rodentia to Danson Leaves, who fumbles the ball once again.
Highlight that.
That was my highlight.
Wow.
That's a joke.
Lou decides not to let his star player be the one to make the moves, and Nuffle punishes him again. Roik in the chat saying, why?
I can see what he was thinking, because the AG5 was a much easier leap, and he was going to pass to him and then leap diagonally.
Blitz.
And then
blitz in here. I was going to do this blitz, and then be in that spot, and then do the 2+ roll.
It made sense actually.
You know, like from this position, it's a 1+.
Yeah, I can see why you were doing it.
2+ leap, and then built-in dodge for the reroll. Built-in reroll on the dodge. You know?
Save it for the post-game interview. In the meantime, I'm just gonna say it makes sense, except for the fact that Lou took the ball away from his star player again, and Nuffle punished him, and then gave it right back to U-turn. There's a lesson here that needs to be learned, and that is, do not take the ball away from U-turn. You will be punished.
Wow. A little bit of weak him out there.
Let's kill this thing.
And the journeyman gonna take a shot at Mumps. All he does is annoy him.
Yeah.
Gurlia, pointing out, U-turn just took it back. U-turn, you can see him rolling his eyes as the word is Dancing Leaves was bumbling it. Oh, the turn 16, and that's gonna create some bad blood.
Wow.
There was no real advantage in doing that.
What a game. What a game.
And that's it with the final whistle. We have seen an amazing roller coaster here. Seesaw battle between these two teams. Wow, look at the discrepancy in the armor breaks. 15 for Rodentia, 4 for Harrelsons. 3-3 the final score. Your MVPs are this guy for the Rats is Campy Low Bacteriosis. And one of the journeymen, man, just the final FU from Nuffle. One of the journeymen gets the MVP. I'm wondering if Lou will hire him, though, just to take the 5 SPP and go from
I'm debating right now.
Oh.
Because I have 170k right now. It's 70k for the journeyman. Can I get 120 in the remaining 3 games?
And while he figures that out, let's take a look at these stats here. 4 passes from each side. Um, 3 KOs for Rodentia. Rodentia definitely won the bash battle. 212 yards rushing. I gotta see something here. Are we looking at I don't think it's an MML record. I think it comes up just short, but I'm gonna double check. Just in case. We may be looking at an MML record. So the rushing record for the MML. So what do you guys think in the chat? Who's been paying attention to the records? And I'll let you guess as well, Harry. Are these 212 yards rushing more than the current or previous MML record, or is it not enough? Harry, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm trying to get rugby on telly. So.
Oh no, all right, never mind. But what a rushing! Both of these teams put up hell of a rushing yards here. 212 for Rodentia, Harrelsons 186. So this was an offense-powered game. Let me ask you guys, what do you think, coaches? You think the 212 rushing yards by Rodentia broke the MML record?
I have no idea. I'm gonna say
I
yes.
don't. I'm gonna say no.
You gonna say no?
Does anybody know if it's in Sky Sports 1, 2, or 3?
What's that?
Sorry.
Focus, Harry, focus. We're almost hit. We're in the home stretch. NTB, you were 6 yards short. The current record is 218 rushing yards by Los Pumas against Rodentia at Nauseam in Season 5, Week 5. So 6 yards short of breaking it. What a match. NTB, are you happy with the draw? In retrospect,
I'm happy with the draw, given that there was 2 turns for Lou to score at the end. Yeah, I mean, like, it's always going to be a tough game against an offense like that. Damn perfect defense on my 1 turners again. It seems to be a regular thing. That happens a lot. But yeah, it was a good game. Basically what it came down to is it went for the armor breaks and got 15 of them, but only 2 of them really got converted into injuries. So that wasn't, didn't weigh down the L's enough, basically.
That kept me in the game for sure. I mean, that was the only thing that kept me in the game because I needed the numbers, right? I mean, I needed the numbers to set up against the 1 turn in the back line in the first half. I needed the numbers to set up my 1-turners properly, I needed the numbers to threaten the ball against you. So I think that was keeping me in the game after that start. The first 3 turns were on both sides, right? I mean...
Yeah, we all messed up. But you gotta look at it. The thing is, you can't look at the dice over a couple of turns. You gotta look at it over the whole game. So keep saying to people, so if you get a bad start, you get a bad start. You're going to get a strong finish. That's how it evens out. That's how random it evens out.
Exactly.
So,
and I mean, the second half was
fairly equal.
Well, I think so too. I mean, the second half was a fantastic game, I think. I mean, the first 4 turns were basically a festival of fails until you managed to get hold of the ball at some point, right?
I'm going to bail out. We've got real stuff going on now.
All right. Thanks, Harry. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, it was a tense battle actually. But I'm happy to come out with this out of this with a tie as well. I mean, that still leaves me in bowl game contention at the very least. But win would of course been better. But
I picked up 22 SBP, which I'm pleased about. 2 the gutters leveled, and I've been struggling for SBP lately with the losses. So to pick up 22 altogether in a game, I'm pretty happy about.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, both of you guys picked up some SBP here.
There's no permanent damage on either side, right?
You've got a miss next game.
Yeah, but that's not permanent. That's okay. I'm fine with that.
No, Mark got a miss next game as well.
Yeah, without
your...
that
was disappointing for me because I got 15 armor breaks and you only got 4, and yet we both had 2 players in the injury box at the end.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, if you were looking for one deciding factor, that to me is probably it.
By the way, Lou, the crowd the fans are in the chat saying congratulations. I'm sorry, not Lou, NTB. They're saying congratulations for Han achieving legendary status. I gotta ask you, is there any particular celebration, any special accommodations you're gonna make for Han now that he's legendary? What has he earned?
He gets a special cheese which has a gold rind on it.
Look at that.
which he'll probably just eat anyway. But the idea is that he actually just mounts it on a little half moon above his fireplace. But in all likelihood, he'll get drunk and eat it.
He's definitely gonna get drunk and eat it. No way.
Yeah, but I'm obviously thrilled that he got there, and I think a lot of people, I should probably say publicly now, I think a lot of people mistake the whole me and Thunder legendary thing, because that is between me and Thunder been going on for ages, and it's just complete messing around between the two of us, playing up that we really care about it and who's going to get there first and the farm SP and all that, completely playing up the whole time. And then, you know, sometimes people have got the wrong idea and have stepped in for this and that and everything. You lose player, absolutely, by the rules. He's legendary. He's a level 7 player, of course. But as Lou will admit, he achieved that in the farm. We were talking about the first 2 players getting there, and the race between them getting there in the actual league play. And it was always a bit of a joke back and forth about the farm SPP that Han had, whereas Goldbag was first. And I'm really chuffed that Goldbag got there first, because as it should be, a player who was there from the beginning getting there first. But then a gutter runner, for crying out loud, who's had a niggle for God knows how many seasons, managing to achieve it in predominantly league play, I think is a pretty impressive achievement. I don't know many gutter runners who survive that long, let alone ones with injuries who survive that long. And for anyone who comes back and says, oh, he's only on the pitch for 1 turns, no, I never have enough Skaven for him to be on the pitch only for 1 turns. He pretty much has played probably 90% of the minutes that this team has played. So
much respect.
That's my statement on that.
Much respect on. And again, I just reiterate, I think these kind of discussions are great for the MML. They remind me of stuff that we have in real life when you have, like, you know, people in a pub arguing who's the best, you know, English Premier League player, and, oh, well, this guy had a better team around him, or this guy didn't, you know, or in America when we're arguing about on the NFL, who's the best quarterback. You know, these are things that you can get drunk and argue about good-naturedly for a long time. I think sometimes some of this context between the coaches gets lost on Discord just because it's text and people don't realize that it is a joke, it is good-natured, and they're just arguments. So somebody from the outside might misinterpret it and think, oh, these guys have been going on forever about something that, you know, that are they serious? It doesn't really matter, you know, that kind of thing. But I think this is good for the MML as long as it's kept in context by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking about players that are legendary, Lou, let's go back to this. You started the game trying to shift the focus away from your star player, your legendary player, and give the ball to somebody else, and it didn't go well for you in the beginning. The end of the match comes up, and you know, you have the opportunity to have your star player step up and do the things he's been doing for you. You try to take the ball out of his hands, and it does not pay off. Basically, the question is, have you learned your lesson?
I mean, have you seen that? What a diva he is. I mean, he doesn't get the attention. I am asking him, please hand it over to the War Dancer. He's really good at leaping. He's, in fact, better at leaping than you are. But what does he do? He hands it to the War Dancer and just takes it right back and saying, like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to give it to you, seriously. What a diva. What a
wow, so are you
really
saying that the handoff was particular, like the War Dancer was sabotaged? Was Dancing Leaves given a bad handoff? Oh wow!
Dancing Leaves was the star of the player from the beginning on. I mean, ever since he joined the team, he carried it. His brother died, and from that on, he was by himself and carried the team by himself. And now that U-Turn is there, he tries to steal the show. And Dancing Leaves had a good game. He had a great match, and I think U-Turn didn't want the spotlight to get to him. But congrats to Hantavirus, and I mean, that player was legendary before he crossed that mark. You know, like it is a story. He's been around for so long. He's decided so many games, scored so many crucial touchdowns, and I mean, that's what makes the players legendary. You know, like look at Dino Chicken. He's even dead in his first season or something, but in his second season. But that's a player people are talking about, and that's great. But I'm very happy that Hantavirus reached this, especially after he got an armor break against him on the first attempt, and I was like, ugh. Like,
you might be interested. Thanks, Lou. I appreciate that. You might be interested to know that I just rolled for his level. And in an interesting quirk for a one-turner, he rolled double 1.
Which is fun. What does he get?
Which is good.
Does he get long legs?
Ironically.
Wow.
Does he get long legs? It makes sense, right?
No, because he hasn't got lead.
Ah, crap, yeah. And he won't
He'll
pick up
probably he'll probably get an extra head to encompass his massive ego.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, going through there, that would have helped.
Or horns, so he could blitz his way in potentially.
He has block, right?
Yeah.
Horns might be even better. I think.
It might be.
A game changer,
Yeah,
man.
because you get the chance for the down, at least, and then it's still the same dodges because you make that extra move. You know, like you don't have to make that one dodge into the tackle zones already. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I think horns might make sense there actually.
It may well do, although two heads might be more useful for all other play.
But you have a two-headed guy around already, right? Like you have a two-headed wrestle guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting. I'll have a think on that.
With this victory, you are potentially number 2 going into next week. I'm sorry, tied for the lead in the play pool with the other Wood Elf team in the play pool. Being the White Owls, 2 wins and 2 draws. Of course, if Girdlia's Witch's Coven could win their match against the Granite City Grimbeers this week, then he will leapfrog both of you. And then Harrelsons plays Witch's Coven next week in a huge game. We were talking about before, you said Dancing Leaves used to carry the team by himself before. He will actually have to carry the load for the War Dancers next week. Are you worried about that he's going to be playing in another one of your biggest games of the season, and you're going to be missing a War Dancer?
Not at all. I mean, look at what Stu did with one War Dancer. He can do it, I can do it. We're fine. I mean, Clenched Cheeks is... I mean, he picked up 9 SPP in, 8 games now? 5 of them were an MVP. That guy's doing nothing. You know, like he's afraid of every hit he gets. He's hiding in the corners. You know, like that guy's useless. He's gonna get fired at the end of the season if he keeps playing like this.
Oh wow! And you've got Harrelsons has an exciting schedule. We talked about you played Rodentia and Nauseam this week in a barn burner. It's a hell of a game. But as far as then you're gonna look at top of the conference play, which is coming versus Harrelson, and then you got the week right after you got the White Owls for the Wood Elf on Wood Elf match, and then you finish with Los Pumas. This is not an easy schedule.
This was supposed to be a win tonight, so we could have a nice little scoring fest in week 6. Hoping for Gerd to stumble over some drawers in the meantime, to close it out before week 7 basically. But this is not gonna happen because we're worried that Gerd is gonna win his games in the process, and we both will need the points at that moment in time, probably.
Ooh, Stu jumping in the chat saying that he believes that next week might be tougher than you think with only War Dancer because you have to be Stu to pull a Stu. and Joe Fro saying, thankfully there's just one Stu. He doesn't want more than one of them. This is going to be
so
an
you
interesting...
could get 1 point against elves.
Your play pool is no joke, man. This is an interesting one to watch, and
if you want another interesting little side note, battle for relegation. So both me and Joe Fro at the bottom of our pool have got the same records now, 2 draws and 2 losses, and we haven't played each other yet. In fact, I believe it's the last game. Let me just check.
Oh wow.
Yes, it's the last game as well of the season. So keep an eye on that one.
Is that the worst record in the MML?
I think the Grunts and the Morning Stars are in contention for that as well.
Grunts and the Morning
Yeah,
Stars?
but if neither of us do particularly well between now and that last game, that could be like a relegation fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like none of you guys will get relegated, probably. You know, like you, one won't be relegated. You know, and because the chances that you're going to be relegated, even if you don't get any more points, both of you, 5 points will be enough to avoid relegation.
So I think after week 5 we'll have a pretty clear picture of who's in real danger of relegation. At this point, it's a little premature, but one more week, I think. I think if Rodentia picks up a win next week, they're sitting in a lot more comfortable of a spot, and then they're not really in the relegation talk. So we'll see. But
anyway, I'm going to leave you guys to it now. Thank you for the commentary, Jest and Harry. Hope you enjoyed his rugby. And well done, Lou. Well played. Honours even at the end, both kickbox and on the pitch. And so, yeah. Cool.
Congrats
thanks everyone
again
for
on
watching.
And great
Cheers.
match played, great coaching, guys, for both of you. And,
cheers. Thanks. See you later, guys.
Okay, later.
All right. And I'm going to close this out with that. You've been watching the MML. Check us out, mmlpro.com. We are a PS4 league. However, we have a lot of people that play it on other forums like PC, even tabletop. Hang out in the Discord chat, even if you don't have a PS4. So go to mmlpro.com, and our Discord chat should be posted there somewhere. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Lou, any last words before we sign off?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Thanks again, everybody, for watching.